Hello, mic test. Hello, mic test. Let's test things out right now. I want to know how my audio is going. I'd like to see how my audio is going. Let's test things out right now. I want to know how my audio is going. I'd like to see how my audio is going. What about this? I think this is better. Yeah. There's a little echo right now. That's okay. I'm just hearing the feedback as well. What about this? I think this is better. Yeah. There's a little echo right now. All right. Let's see where this goes, shall we? Good morning, Night City. All right, and we are back. Good morning, Night City. So I'm testing this new setup. I hope that it's working out well. I hope so. We've got a lot to go through today. At least that's the work that I envision to complete. All right. All right. Okay. So think our lighting for this should still be top from the top. Yeah. All of it should still be from the top. That's what we have to do. And so our placement of the light here is a little mistaken because it has to be up here. This is the problem with an, not really problem, this is the concept of an overhead light. So we want to have just some light brushes. We could actually select this and fill it, but you immediately lose texture when you go about that shortcut. And that's why I don't regularly pursue that kind of approach, because you miss out on all the nice, juicy texture that you can only really do. Winter Soldier from Temu. That's not the first time that I've been called that, so hello my good friend. Good morning, how are you? So what we want to do is identify the shape of the head, which is a circle, but then you can of course break that down into faces or planes. And then since the light is from the top, then that's what we use as a baseline. I think I like that word. I might end up repeating that many times throughout the stream and throughout any conversation with me, I would say. So since this light here is mistaken, we could simply erase it by eyedropping the color of most of the flats, the whites of that area. And then go about adding another section, a new section that would better represent that effect that we are looking for. And so since this area begins to taper off into a kind of front, it now starts to look forward towards us. How are you? There you go. Now we add one quick dash of bright white over here, which slowly diffuses throughout the rest of it. We change the color to a little bit of yellow to enhance the effect of the light, and then a little bit of blue. Then we blend that together so that the white pops out even further, like so. Then we can, I believe we can return a little bit of that. And here as well. We reduce the opacity of the brush so that we cover more area. All right. Let's see how that works. Then we want to make this more even. I think that's the issue that I'm being faced with, is it's a little too restricted. Should envelope more of this area. There you go. Similar to here, but then since it's white paint. Close to midnight. Oh, how is Alien Earth so far? I've been hearing some really great reviews and some not too great reviews. I haven't really dived into any of them, so I hold no opinion. I do know Sid from Ice Age is present, so there's that. That's the only thing I've kind of confirmed, and that there are minor changes to the design of the alien, that some seem to prefer the original, because this one looks a little too rubbery. I don't know what your opinion is on that. I'd like for you to educate me, I would say. So to complete the illusion of this, we also have to add the same value to this top part. And so our eyes are not betrayed. Right, now going back, now we move on to the grayish, dark gray texture, dark gray steel texture. And to make it pop out immediately, we focus on the surface that reflects the top light. And again, we have to remember that we're doing this because there is some sort of lightning up ahead. There's this flash of light that's about to fade, and that's what's created this effect, dramatic effect. Here we can be a little more liberal with the amount of white we provide, but be conservative with where we put it in order to make that metallic texture really pop out. And same thing here. So now we're simply connecting the brightness that we have over there at the top section, and then ensure that it continues here to the edge. If you pay attention to the color, to the colors that I'm using, I have not changed, I haven't changed the white. It's all still white from here on out. I'm simply being careful with my brush pen pressure, and the size of my brush is still small, okay? So for an area like this, that's a little rounded. Well, everything's rounded per se, or the helmet, but this looks more like a cylinder, and the cylinder is facing us, kind of like this. Look at the right side of the screen, like this. So if the light is coming from the top is not necessarily the brightest section. It's the section that bounces light into our eyes, which happens to be here. Somewhere here. This effectively becomes the brightest part. Do we do the same on this side? Kind of. But since you have this area that blocks the light, you can just add a little bit here and some more here. Like so. So the parts that have much more sheen, like the piping of the rebreather, and these little extra cylinders by the ears, if we want them to appear to have more sheen, we just add a more distinct white to it. Hello, on Haku. I hope I'm pronouncing that well. Thank you, thank you. What time is it over there? Must I agree to you a good morning or good evening? So far, I love it. It takes the whole Wayland Yutani story to new heights. I feel the look of the alien is closer to Alien 3. So it is a bit off than the normal look. Sure, I see, I see. Yeah, I heard about that. The more corporate expansion. That's actually what interested me in seeing it. How many episodes are out? So similarly, we just actually have to treat the Space Marine's head as some sort of ball, right? So you have a ball. Let's illustrate a ball. So we have a ball here. And then you have the light coming down here. And so the brightest part is somewhere here, which reflects the light from this point towards us. So if we're gonna draw it on the side, let's say this is our eye, we're looking at it, the light is coming from here, right? So the area that bounces light to us is somewhere here. So let's just leave that there for illustrative purposes. All right, 4 episodes. How's the pacing? So now I'm going to reduce my opacity once more. And then add our texture. Sorry about that. I had to mute my pace is slow, which works for this sort of story. It's much different than the normal Alien stories. Oh yeah, I've seen Timothy Oliphant. I love that guy. I really love that guy. Kind of gay for him too. Alright, so we have that there. So once again, I've maintained just sticking with the white brush, and I'm just using as much as I can to highlight the tips, the brightest sections, and then using some of that light strokes to create more definition among the space. So I actually want to have these characters reflect back to him, but considering his size, he's a little bit off in the background. And so that's honestly impossible So most of the light that's on him right now are just top light. This also angles off a little bit, and then this pushes backwards. There we go. Same thing here. There you go. So when you're working with texture, we can actually use a texture brush that's, you know, a steel texture brush, but one, it removes the fun. It speeds things up for sure. We can't deny that. It speeds things up dramatically. But sometimes you just really want to enjoy the process, and you have more control. You definitely have more control. So my brush does have texture, but it's more of just a regular scalpel brush or a regular brush stroke brush. So it's uneven, it's quite uneven, which helps create the effect that I'm aiming for. There you go. So now I'm confident with the spot in which I've placed my my highlights. Now what I have to do is just extend those highlights with some very light brush strokes. There you go. All right. Now that I'm a little more confident with those, I'm going to use the last bit of whites to create the scratches on the armor before we proceed with the other colors. So the other color that I'm going to use for this is relative to the sky. I think I'm going to want to use a mix between something of a violet. And then that's what we're going to have. The sections that will have violet are the parts that aren't directly lit. The ones with just ambient lighting. There you go. We want some of that here too. There you go. There you go. And then some of that here too. The third form of lighting that we're going to introduce is associated with bounce lighting. But to do that, we must first create the part that creates the bounce light. And what is that part? Well, it's right here. Same process. We identify the brightest area, which would be this rim, the edge of this rim. There you go. And since it's actually a flat section, we have to fill the entire thing. There you go. As much as I want to create variations, I only create variations in thickness, but not truly the level of the value. Same thing here. We put it inside. This brings life and character to this area and brings more dimension to it as well. And now we add a highlight. That really makes this rim stand out. Again, we could have simply selected this area and filled it, but it reduces the control that we have, and we're going to need to repaint the middle, the edges of it anyway. There you go. I actually got this idea from the artist Ranjia. He's a Chinese legend. I'm sure if you've went around in the art circles, you've probably seen his work. He's just an absolute genius with what he does. He's an absolute genius. So our character is leaning a little bit forward, so I think I'm placing this highlight wrong. But I think the highlight should be here. Somewhere here, because there's going to be a little bit of shadowing that occurs from this section. But I might be wrong. We'll see in a bit. So now I'm going to be a little bit more liberal once again with the surface area to brighten. But I'm going to brighten this most because it seems that this is facing towards us, like so. And now I'm going to select, I'm going to eyedrop the color, the color that is generated between the steel and the rest of the bright section to create a midtone that I will scatter throughout the rest of this chest plate. And I make sure to increase the chroma so that it still stands as though he is lit by the environment and not just separate from the rest of the image. There you go. We do the same for the other side. Add lighter values since we are approaching again the area that faces towards us. And we have to consider that this neck guard, whatever we call it, also reflects some light downwards and back and forth. There you go. And what we want to do is to maintain the rim edge as a bright section, because this is where the solder happens if these armor plates are soldered. I don't really know. I know to any Warhammer enthusiasts out there, their material is ceramite, right? I might be wrong, so please just brand me as a heretic in case I get it wrong. There you go. Nice. So this section is a different material. So we're going to add a little bit of yellow to differentiate it. And then a little bit of blue. I like doing that, so I naturally end up with a nice in-between. And that's what we use to cover more evenly this entire section. There you go. I'm using a larger brush so that this section is covered more evenly. I'm now going to create the effect that I desire, in which there should be some Am I on mute? Am I still on mute? Oh damn, am I still on mute? Am I still on mute? Oh, I'm not. Okay. All right. Anyways, so I want to create a haze effect here, and we do that while lowering our opacity and increasing our diameter, and we do a vertical stroke across this section. There you go. Make sure that it extends upward to create the desired effect. There you go. Then now I think we could lean in on that. There you go. Same thing here. There you go. Nice. Okay, with that provided, we now capture the bounce light that I'm looking for right here. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then match that up with a haze. But let's darken it a little bit. We don't want too much. Even with drawing, moderation. Well, not always. Depends on what kind of artist you are. I guess I'm not that kind of artist. For example, if you guys have seen my more gratuitous pieces, whether it's gore or something more alluring, spicy, I always try to not lean into the gratuitous. Like, it still has to have some restrictions to it. And the restrictions isn't to censor per se, it's actually to increase the enticement, if that makes sense, and leave some bits to the imagination. For example, when I'm intrigued and want to do a shot of a person dying, and it's, you know, at the hands of a serial killer, or, you know, like a what's a good like Jason there, or like a Predator. I don't think they've ever been illustrated in such a way that the effect becomes graphic in a real sense. Where there's not too much blood, and let's say it's shot at a certain angle in which you're left to think about what else you could have seen. I think Dan Trachtenberg's Prey comes a little close to that. there are some scenes there that he could have went more ferocious with the gore, but he didn't. He left a lot for the audience to fear and maybe to cheer on about, you know, because we still want to be invested in how the Predator kills and kind of see him as this succeeding or not succeeding warrior. Okay, let's cover this section a little bit because it is our head is lower down. Yes. All right. And since this goes all the way back around, we make sure that this part is bright too. Nice. Let there be light. And there was light. Okay. I think I'm pretty satisfied with this section here. Yep. I think I am. Oh, except for the white skull. Since the skull is also spherical, especially at this head area, we want to increase the brightness of that too. There you go. Okay. Let's see if we can reduce the levels, because he is going to be covered in mist, some mist, not a lot of mist. So let's see if we could take that brightness down a little bit and then readjust the lighting so that it really shines through. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Why am I saying that song? I choose to be happy. You and I, we're like diamonds in the sky. So shine bright tonight, you and I. Okay, now we return some of that haze again. There we go. There we go. Nice. Okay, he's popping. He's popping. He's locking. He's whatever the fucking. Okay, that was not a good joke. Probably. I'll leave it for you guys to decide if that was a good joke or not. Okay, so I once again have the option of either making the lightning look photoreal or a little dramatic and following its own set of rules while maintaining realism, because in this case this isn't really as bright. Again, the light is fading. Excuse me. Okay, so now that we have that third character over there, I think we want to match the levels per se. So for this character at the back, we could increase the levels. There you go. And then darken the sections too. Let's see what the levels are for this little baby. Levels. Okay, so the histogram kind of shows that we are around the middle section. Let's see if we can, let's see if the levels for this one is the same. Oopsie, my bad. Yeah, that's better. The thing is, it's red, that's why. Let's try brightness. Oh, it becomes too overexposed. We can't do that. I think curves will do a better job. Let's compare. Yeah, I think that's better. And for this central figure, I think we can duly increase the brightness. There we go. Very good. Oops. Look at the difference of that. But I want to increase the brightness of his eyes, and I think we could just simply do that with brightness. Like so. With the brightness configured, we could just simply erase and then let the reds return in such a manner. There you go. There you go. All right. All right, all right, all right. I'm considering if we should have the red one's eyes light up too, because in the reference that I have, the eyes aren't really too bright, let's just say. Anyways, let's go back to this baby. Okay, let me just have a coffee drink. That was good. Oh, that was really good. Gotta maintain the secret identity. Okay, now that's just cringe. Alright, now let us return to this lovely specimen. Okay, so what we can do is do the same thing here at the back, but with less. Nah, let's stick to the same level of brightness. Same rules. You want to hit that area that faces us. There you go. And then for this, like so. Same thing here. And then since this is a cylinder, you want to regulate the entire thing, like so. And then for this part, there you go. Just treat sections of your illustration as primitive shapes. Cylinders, spheres, triangles, pyramids. And I think you'll be able to cover much of what you have to. There you go. There you go. Let's go back to our reference. We want to cover the entire thing. Apologies for being silent there for a little bit, but I had to affirm for myself if what I'm doing is correct, and I had to, you know, just focus for a quick second because I'm a little bit unsure with how to light this part. There are moments when you've already figured everything out, like you've already drawn everything out. You have the baseline already in front of you. You have the rules in your head, and then just suddenly you're stuck, and you double think yourself, such is the case right now. And like, I'm actually itching just to back away from the illustration and just, you know, pause and rethink and all of that jazz, but I'm trying to not do that. I'm trying to be more confrontational with my difficulties, that if I stumble into a problem, I'd rather brute force through it. Not necessarily brute force, more like, how do I say this? Slow down instead of stop. I think that is the crucial difference that I had before, is when I stumble into a difficulty like this, I would just really just stand up, you know, and sometimes even lie down because your head begins to hurt, you become frustrated, and it's not helpful when you're frustrated. you end up hating yourself. You end up hating the art that you do. I don't know what goes first. Is your self-esteem the first to go down the drain, or is it more your love for the art, or your perception of your own piece? Or is that the first thing that goes through the window? I don't really know. So here, again, I'm losing confidence. So what I do is I check the work that I've done before, which is this. Here I've already prepared the kind of lighting that I have. So here I recognize that this is actually flat. And then this is cylindrical. Oh, flat facing, not necessarily just completely flat. And so I want to right now take that into account and then replicate that effect right here. First we do it on this side. There you go. And then let's do that here too. Let's see that again. Oops, my bad. There you go. So this actually becomes, I think that's the effect that was missing earlier. There you go. That's much better. And of course, since this piece of metal here, the gold plate, will end up being in the light as well, we might as well put that in. There you go. And it reflects back towards that backpack. Someone actually asked if I had included the backpacks into these characters, and I guess it just wasn't too visible here, but yeah, it is there. So we create that haze again. There you go. And then we include that reflective effect here. Let's increase the chroma. There you go. There you go. Like so. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And yes. And I guess we would like to do the same for this section here. Because, well, actually we should do it more because it's directly beside this gold area. So we want to capture that effect. There you go. And then increase the brightness once again, but still follow the contour of the shape without overdoing it. There you go. There you go. Now we go back here. Now let's compare and contrast what we have. There you go. You see how alive that gets right away? Bam, bam, bam. Alright, okay. I just made a post over on the Facebook page, and we are back to our regular programming. What movie is that? There's a certain movie that uses the term programming as part of its... what movie is that? Just like programming or something like that. There's... God damn, what is that movie? I wonder what that movie is. Okay, we got that down. What we want to do is create this luster. I think that's the right term. On the metal here. Okay, so here, this is effectively a cylinder, this area. And so this top part is what we are going to make bright. There you go. There you go. But what we want to do is create that gold effect. And gold, I forgot what the refraction index, I think there's something like that that exists. I have to check my knowledge base. There you go. You want to keep the contrast high for gold, which kind of defeats the purpose of this area that we did here. Right now, I'm pretty happy with how the parts have been set up, the painted parts. So to reduce the weight on the PC, I am going to merge them together into one layer. There you go. All right, so I'd like to return some of that contrast here, but it's a little difficult because we're at the edge of glory, and I'm hanging on a moment with you. Because I'm on the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge, the edge. Okay, so we have the top lighting all set. We want to show that the lightning is a little wider than it usually is. So we add more like that. Here we follow the geometry. Nice, nice, nice. Pretty happy with how this is turning out. I like the chroma that I have. There you go. Very nice. Oh, I understand what the problem is. Okay, I get what the problem is now. Notice how we have this protruding layer here. You have bap, bap, and then bap, right? God damn it. But then here, you just have bap. Stupid. So what we want to do is we want to have the top layer first, and then wall it off there, and then bap, go vertical to create that elevation. There, that's this stupid. So, contrary to popular belief, art is not relaxing, especially when you're trying to attain a certain level. I'm just trying to laugh it off, but I think if I had encountered this problem by my lonesome, like really just by myself, I would have gotten really angry at myself. I kind of am angry with myself. There you go. There you go, you stupid little nut job. There you go. And then we could bring back the whites here. And then more of that yellow here. Why am I getting sleepy? Ah, there you go. Yes. Yes, sir. In your soul, step into the blue wave. In your soul, step into the new way. Feel it, I need it, I want it, I let it, so ride it, I need it, I let it, da 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 da, wow, wow. In your soul, step into the blue way. In your soul, step into the blue way. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm pretty satisfied with that central sheen. Charlie Sheen. Okay, so what we have to do next is to create these bounces that push out in this direction. So we have the top light associated with this, this, but then what we want to do is create, is to figure out what kind of lighting affects this side and this side. And so right now it's relatively correct in that this almost is the color of the sky, right? So if we color select that, it's honestly not too far off to the average. There you go, see? And that's the beauty when you paint with lower saturation colors, is because you can blend them more accordingly. Imagine if we boost up the saturation for the sky and for the gold parts, then the brown here, the reddish brown, if you look at the color wheel on the side, or the color rectangle, the color tower, the color cake, and then you compare it with this, it's more violet, or there, compared to here, right? But that's the variation. Yo, what's up, man? I'm just deciding how to, well, more of illustrating how to light this area here, this shoulder pad. And I was simply demonstrating the difference between the top light that we're having, marked by the green lines, because I'm going to have some sort of dramatic lightning that goes down like this, which affects this portion and this portion right here. Anything that is flat and facing the sky. And then everything else, marked by red right here, is affected by some other light. Good to see that I'm not AI. No shit, bro. No way. No way. I fight for real art. I fight for real art. I only use AI for myself, just to have fun with it. And then sometimes even call it a clanker. And that's pretty much what I do with AI. I ridicule it, I fight it, I get angry at it. This is just really in-depth made AI. Oh, so you're telling me that you have... Thanks, man, thanks. I think your artistic instinct also kicked in. I miss your Batman vids, bro. I miss the Asloom. I really miss the Asloom. Okay, so in this case, to help ourselves out, we could actually select the color of the light here, and then just lower our opacity, and then make sure to generate that angled look. Excuse me, I burped a little bit. I don't know if the mic picked that up. Yeah, I use AI to practice languages. Same! That's it, and sometimes for fun, but never create anything. More Batman stuff is coming. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I use it to converse, because I speak some French, and I don't really have people to talk with. Like on the, just to call them out right away. So I'm against generative AI. However, I do use normal AI for things to help me set up a work schedule, set up my PC. But yeah, I definitely agree. I try to use it as some sort of library as well. So I restrict it from, I restrict myself from writing things or composing things, from letting it compose things. I want those to be mine. But the ideas, they're mine, and I just use it as a library. I ask it, is this true? You know? Cite sources. That's the kind of stuff that I do. And then from there I gather my data and then proceed and see where my digital feet take me, for a lack of a better term. I don't know if you guys use it in that manner as well. Oh, you're studying... Is that Russian? Google on crack. I definitely agree. Yes, it's Google on crack. I'm even extremely careful not to have any emotional bond with it. That's why in moments when I accidentally give it my name and then it calls me by my name, I'm like, shut the fuck up, forget that. We're not friends here, you know? Oh, by the way, Rick, this is Genpachi. He does a lot of good Batman Arkham content. And Genpachi, this is Rick. He's a painter. He's one of my good friends. And he also hosted a comic book podcast back then. He also draws really good art. You should check his work out. It's nice to have art people find each other. So that's why I'm doing the introductions. I told my AI to call me your lordship. You can literally tell I to forget, yeah. Yeah, I do that. I'm like, forget my name. Forget you ever got that. Oh yeah. God damn. Sorry, forgot about that. Go check out his works, Rick. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. You had me at Arkham. Yeah, he's a beast at Arkham, especially with the stealth. Damn. Oh, Macromedia. I didn't know that. Oh yeah, I don't think I ever asked Genpachi. What tool did you use? What tool do you use for animation? Apologies if I had already asked this before. Yeah, what you notice, man? What was that? You noticed something? Or is that the joke? Oh, Krita. Krita. I never knew Krita can do animation. Or is that strictly for animation? I know Krita is for painting. Damn, I must be pretty uninformed. I see. Okay. Krita can do both. It's a great paint tool and for animation projects. I've learned something today. Thank you, guys. Maybe I think I have it downloaded into my laptop because it's pretty light software, is it not? Because I think my laptop is for writing, so it can't necessarily do Photoshop because Photoshop is pretty goddamn heavy. Excuse me. Just knows you were Asian, lol. Wait, what did you think I was? We've been interacting for quite a while now. What did you think I was? It's no problem. You can be racist towards me. I'm not gonna attack you or anything. I gotta reinstall MGS5. You guys are making me want to reinstall MGS5. Well, that dumb joke is absolutely welcome. Yeah, it's the Ching Chong jeans. Not even Sydney Sweeney can beat those jeans. It's the rice. It's the rice that makes me this good. Bow down, mortals. Bow down. Bijan. Oh, are you simply confirming that I'm Batman in some way or form? You're bad, man. I want your love and I want your revenge. You and me could write a bad man. Oh god, you got me there. Well, fun fact, I love fried rice. If we ever met in real life, I can make you some of the best fried rice, dude. Okay, sure. I've never been to New York City. Yeah, I'll make you some. Or if ever you go here to the Philippines, drop by, I'll make you a good pan of fried rice. Oh, caught in a bad romance. Whoa. Why? What's wrong with Tagalog land? Do you not love Tagalog land, Rick? How good am I at drawing chicks? Have you never seen the chicks that I draw? I'd say I'm pretty good at it. Let me find some Oh, that's true. I've never drawn a chicken. But I'll draw a chicken for you, Rick. Do you want the small cock, the big cock? Oh, here's one that I've done. Yeah, well, I think I still remember that sheep thing. Thanks, man. I'm sure you know Tekken. I'm sure you know Tekken, right? And Street Fighter. I'm really considering to draw Tekken, but because I guess it's a pet peeve of mine with Tekken is that you have all of these female characters who seem to look the same. There's not really much variation in their faces. And so I'm really considering like drawing Lily and then taking more from her look from Tekken 5 and like Asuka taking more from the concept art of her. And really bringing out the uniqueness of these characters and not just having them as generic anime woman, because I think that's what Street Fighter has. That's the perfect balance between realism and stylization. As much as I love Mortal Kombat for how grounded it can seem, it pains me to realize that it's almost just photogrammetry. They scan their they scan the models and then well, they don't even make them look as pretty as the models sometimes. Meanwhile, you have Street Fighter, which is the perfect balance between scanning somebody, referencing somebody, and then tweaking it in such a way that makes it just beautiful. Draw Lily and Asuka, just avoid the Tekken 8 version. Oh, that's true. That's true. What's your first Tekken, Genpachi? Oh, Chun-Li. Chun-Li is just magnificently designed. Yes, okay. Since you already brought that up, yes, they do that for their political agenda. There is honestly no lie to that. Tekken 1. Oh wow. My first was Tekken 3, and I wasn't even necessarily allowed to play it. And our PC as well couldn't really play it. So we had to growing up, we had to shrink the size of the screen to like the size of an MP4, and then that's the only way it would be goddamn playable. It's such a pain in the ass. Not a kid, dude. Maybe compared to you, I am. You're a grandfather. You're my grandfather. Oh, you're my daddy. Daddy. That sounds so wrong. You used to have a PS5. You used to have a PS1, but it only lasted for a day. Was my uncle, may he rest in peace. He got an upgrade. He got an upgrade to PS2 during the time, and he didn't know what to do with his PS1, and so he gave it to us. But gaming was not allowed at the house, and when the parents saw us playing with Crash Bandicoot and the boxing game, or was it Fight Night, I think, with Mike Tyson, if I recall correctly, and we just ended up staying up until around 11. The next morning, the PS1 was gone. It was gone. It was given to the garbage men outside. It was, damn. What a memory. So, and it took years, literal years, before we got our hands on our first game. And you know what game that was? It was Half-Life. We even discovered it by accident because it seemed to have been packaged with Counter-Strike, and Counter-Strike is the only thing that we knew existed. We did not know that Half-Life was a thing. And then we saw this little lambda icon. I didn't even know what lambda was. Was surprised to see that there were more of these files inside. And then we clicked on it. After we clicked on it, the Valve logo appeared. And then suddenly we were wondering, why is there no terrorist? Why is there no counter-terrorist? And why am I stuck in a tram? And then the tram opened up to a science lab, and the science lab opened up to this. Damn, it was the first time our minds were blown. And I think I was already a teenager at that point. Excuse me. That's brutal. Reminds me of how I played Doom 3 on PC, lowest specs. I think we did that too, but I think Doom couldn't even run. And so the lowering of the specs wasn't even possible. It took a while before we were able to make it run, and I think Doom 3 was already several years old at that point. They had their reasons, and I think they did it out of love and maybe misunderstanding of what games were. Oh, god damn. Okay. Damn. Well, have I a quick story for you? She said they were demons and demonic satanic panic. Yeah, that actually happened with us. we used to go to church, a local church, obviously, and it was, I think, the first Pokemon movie was showing, and it was, you know, being broadcasted all over the television, and you had all of these posters around, and then the cinema was showing it for sure, and then all the kids at church were so excited to see it. And since I was homeschooled, we were homeschooled, me and my siblings, we didn't really have friends. We were just each other's friends during that time. And I wasn't a fan of Pokemon too much. I didn't find it appealing. I was more of a Lord of the Rings guy and a Spider-Man guy. But, you know, look cute, look nice. What's the harm in this? And then the church service directly addressed Pokemon. And then Pokemon was, as you just said, this incredibly satanic and demonic thing that your children, that you should shun your children away from. And the moment we stepped out of church, we saw the posters, and you know, I wanted to go up to it to even just look at it, and I remember my parents dragging me away. And so I grew up, I went to college, and then I realized that almost everybody that I knew had some affiliation with Pokemon, and which ended up isolating me. Because everybody was like, the Pokemon that I knew is like Mewtwo, Charmander, and of course Pikachu. Pikachu. Pika, Pika. Honestly, homeschooling probably raised your own like 40 points. Public schools are terrible. Yeah, I would agree. I do not, what do you call that? I don't regret being homeschooled. I guess some aspects though could have been improved, but well, no parenting is perfect. I'm sure that when I have my own kids, I'm gonna have my own issues. I don't know what they'll be. I guess we'll find out. And then years later, I think it was the boom of Yu-Gi-Oh, and everybody loved Yu-Gi-Oh, but me and my brother, we ended up loving Duel Masters instead, and because that was shown more regularly on the channel that we used to watch SpongeBob at. And we were so engrossed by it. We really loved it. But, you know, we couldn't buy the game. We couldn't spend on it at all. You know, we didn't have our own money. Of course, we were kids. And so we made our own cards. We ended up having like probably 200 plus cards made on cardboard, each one unique, each one hand cut. It was like this tall, this thick. It was two stacks, and then we would play with it, and then we would build characters off of it. But then every time our parents saw us working with those cards instead of, you know, reading at night, well, they took the cards and then they poured water all over it, and then they just crumpled it up in the backyard. And all of months of hard work just so that we could study better, you know. So yeah, that's how it was. Maybe it made us smarter, but that's the first time I guess that I experienced your own creation being turned to dust. In your soul, step into the blue wave. In your soul, step into the blue wave. Yeah, feel it, I want it, I need it, I let it go, I it. Okay, I think this is turning out pretty good. I'm liking the results of this. So let's just flip the selection again. Magic the Gathering is what got me into fantasy art. I used to play Duel Masters, it was pretty fun. Oh yeah. The art too is amazing. Have you tried painting MTG cards, Rick? I've been asked a couple of times if I can do it, although I don't have the tool set, let's just say. I'm mostly digital right now. Nice. This is looking pretty good. I am quite satisfied with how this is turning out. I'd like to pay attention to this Terminator arm that he has. I've been fine with staying in my own little niche corner of art, but I'm actually working on a more illustrative piece. I think you saw the sketch. Yeah, I have seen the sketch of it. That's I think I left a comment there. That's pretty damn good blocking. Just the blocking alone I was already sold by. Pretty clear rendition too, I would say. Past midnight here, so I'll mute you and watch on the side and relax with some gaming. Yeah, no problem, man. I'm glad to have you, drop by and join in. Thank you. I always appreciate the support. Truly. Alright, so we've already finished a lot of those sections. Now we head on to the more complex part. But let's just rapid fire through this. And we already know the rules of the game. We just focus on the flat areas. Same thing. We're dealing with the highlights here. Highlight there. Highlight there. There you go. So I kind of want to be I'm having an internal battle right now. I wanted to be as accurate as the image, but at the same time skip a little bit because, you know, it takes time to be accurate, but I think I'll I think I'll really let the accuracy still push through as much as I can. I mean, that's what I always promise my clients. When you've been drawing for as long as I have, I've been drawing since I was a kid. It's one of the first things that I really fell in love with. You know, just sticking pencil to paper under my father's watch. I think I was on my dad's lap. That's one of my earliest memories. Because he's an artist himself. He draws a lot. He's actually one of the pillars of my inspirations. So he puts me on his lap, he gives me a pen and a pencil, and then he just asks me to, you know, to go play with it, see what happens. And then having the contrast of black over white, and then watching as lines and curves create an image, I don't know, it just struck something in me. It made me feel something I don't think I've ever felt from just random play. Like, I used to watch a lot of Ultraman, Godzilla, Spider-Man. They were my favorites. And, you know, you aspire to be like them. These heroes fight the bad guys. And you see it in your head, I guess, as a kid. But of course your imagination can only do so much. And the sheet of paper turned into this vehicle. And then the pen is your gas. And then you just put it on there, and even though your perspective is terrible and, you know, you don't really know how to draw, it's just, there's this freedom that you seem to unlock. And it's beautiful, I'd say. It's just absolutely beautiful. I guess some things just end up being instinctual. You just get to, especially if you acquaint yourself with the rules, and your instincts become more refined. We've gone quiet again. Sometimes your mind just, disappears into the void. And you forget to talk because you've just really locked in. I know that this feeling isn't reserved for creatives, but I think that there is something that we do have, What am I saying? That was a rather incomplete thought. Oh my god, I think I'm hungry. But I did have fries a little while earlier. But, if there were any doctors in the chat right now, I think they won't. I think they'll decline the health benefits of fries. I don't think there are health benefits to fries. Are there health benefits to fries? Damn. My god, we must go on an investigation. To the Chatmobile. Okay, let's add some more details here because I feel like I'm slowing down incredibly by hyper focusing on one area. We want to. I think I have to add as many highlights as I immediately can. Pardon the Facebook notification sounds. It's my fiance who's I must reply to her. I'm gonna reduce the opacity for this and just cover larger swaths of real estate there. Forgot which video I gathered that from, but I think it's from was it Comic Tropes? Or was it Silent Manga Audition Community? Yay! The term real estate, or was it from David Finch? I cannot recall. I cannot simply recall. That's a V for Vendetta reference. Your records have either been omitted, deleted, come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept that in soon you'll be drenched to the bone. For the times, the years have been changing. Please gather round you and shatter your homes, for the times, they are a-changin'. Times they are a-changin'. I could already hear the bustling of the city streets downstairs. Man, alright, well, beautiful stuff. I gotta head out. You should do your own comic. Thanks, bro. Thanks, bro. Have a good night. Have a good night. See you around. Hope to see more of your stuff, too. Send me a link if you have a new Batman or animation or anything. Love to support your work. Alright, see ya, buddy. Glad to have you here. Excuse me. Alright, I've gone a little quiet again. I think it's because I'm a tad bit hungry, if not actually hungry. But I would like, honestly, to finish this soldier right here before standing up. But I think my physical bearings are starting to get to me. The reason for me being a little more tired quite easily is because I've been awake for 16 hours now. Okay, his arm is now starting to pop out. But I think we just simply have to duplicate it. There you go. So that's the beauty with painting highlights that are just directly over the illustration. It's beneficial because you could just duplicate it and then have it, and then just, you know, have it stand out more, like so. Nice. I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. Then we could just add some more details left and right. Some pipes, tubes, whatnot. Throughout the land, and don't criticize what you can't understand. The sons and the daughters of the army can. Your old road is rapidly aging. Nice. There you go. Okay, I've now already pretty much set up the arm, but it's not yet complete because I'm only adhering to the single light source. I haven't put together the, what do you call it? I have not yet included the lighting from the reflections. For example, this area. I have not yet done that. And that's why it still looks a little incomplete as of the moment. All right. Okay. I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. Quite happy. I think I'll take a quick break. I'll probably eat a sandwich. I bought a cheesy burger from McDonald's, and I'll try to make my break quick, like maybe just 20 minutes, or less than that if possible. And then I will, what do you call that? I'm running out of words. I'm gonna cook some eggs there. I'm gonna cook some eggs, maybe a single souffled egg, and then use that, and then put that in between the cheesy burger, so that, you know, the burger was purchased like 2.5 hours ago, and putting that hot fucking egg in it is, you know, it's it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. All right, I'll be back in a bit. I'll be back in roughly 10 to 20 minutes. Love y'all. All right, we're back. I'm back. If, okay. There's already daylight. So let's get some light popping in, just a tiny bit, not too much. Okay, I hope that my audio is streaming properly. So let's see how this goes. Damn, looks nice. Okay, I'm just putting on some earphones because the quiet is affecting me, affecting my mind per se. So just slapping some music on. Let's see how this works. Yeah, pardon the loud noises. I'm literally just attaching earphones to my head. There we go. Okay. turn off the quick break. We have returned. We are back. Where's our headset? Nope, that's not it. Headset, earphone. God damn it. I'm still fixing the earphones. Apologies. Hello, 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 welcome. I can see that we have a viewer. It's nice to have you here. Microsoft condenser. Why is my hands-free audio? What the hell is going on? Anyways, let me just turn that off instead. Okay, let's go back to this. Why is my Bluetooth earphone? Why are my Bluetooth earphones not working? What is going on, man? I need my music. Okay, I think I'm just gonna have to restart the stream. Alright, apologies on this. I am going to restart the stream. I think I need to restart my PC too, so I shall return. But this is going particularly well. All right. I'll have to say goodbye for now, and I'll return. I don't know how to say bye. Peace out.